G'day world, Chris Hogan coming to you live from Myriad 2018. Thanks to Everledger and Invest Sunshine Coast. And I'm here with David Ryan, founder of Corilla. How are you going, David?
Very well, thank you.
David, we interviewed you last year at Myriad 2017, of course. And mate, what's happened in the year? Well, firstly, remind us what Corilla is all about and what it does.
Okay, so we've had a bit of an adjustment since we last spoke. So Corilla is a documentation tool for software teams. We've been expanding over the last year. When we spoke at Myriad 2017, I was actually back in Australia on a visa run, and Martin asked me to speak at the event then, and we talked on a topic of going global from day one. What I didn't know is 2 weeks after Myriad, we flew to San Francisco, which I've been based in the last year, and we've had some pretty interesting times over there. It's been incredible, but we came back to Australia a few months ago for something called the Hot Desk program, where Advanced Queensland has found 24 global and Australian companies to bring to Queensland, investing $100,000 equity-free, free office space, and that's been incredible. So we came back from San Francisco to build the team out here, then back over and back and forth. So it's been an interesting couple of months, to say the least.
What's it like been building a global business? What's some of the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome?
Everything. That's my answer. I'm just going to be quite everything. No, probably the number one thing is everything you learn in whatever ecosystem you've started in, you have to relearn in the new place. So a new network, new friends, new colleagues, new hiring policies, new hiring laws. Every region treats your product differently. Corilla is now in use in over 85 countries worldwide. So that's 85 times we've had to learn, laws, policies, language, translation, like you name it. It's a constant learning battle.
Wow. And so, team, whereabouts are they situated?
In our early days, so without recapping, you can watch the previous video, but in our early days we started the company in Brisbane, but we joined an accelerator in Paris called Numa. So we went from Paris to Helsinki, which is where I met Martin and the Slush crew, which leads to Myriad today. London, into the US. So every time we've gone through there, we've had remote team. One of the perks of Corilla's early days is that, our CTO was in Toulouse, I was in Paris, community advisor was in London, engineers in Brisbane. The whole remote thing's been great, but thanks to Advanced Queensland, we've been able to bring the whole team here, nearly the whole team here, and just build out all our engineering and product side here in Brisbane.
That's fantastic. I was talking to Patrick Llewellyn from 99 Designs, and he was saying that one of the biggest challenges about going global was actually having his offices separate, and that if he could, in a perfect world, he'd have everybody together. So I bet that's helping with culture and problem solving on a company scale. Would that be correct?
Yeah, that's really correct, and it's actually a topic that I've struggled with. Even 6 months ago, we had kind of the Bay Area baller mentality. Like, it feels good to say you have your team here and your team here, but it gets really isolating. I've actually got being interviewed by something called Reboot, a CEO coaching clinic that really push hard in the Bay to make sure founders and their teams have just a good culture, a good environment to work in. And I had to admit that the isolation I had as a founder was just terrible. It's kind of a heartbreaking thing because you're constantly trying to keep your team happy, your investors happy, your customers happy. And I have to admit, coming here into Brisbane, being supported by Advanced Queensland, by River City Labs and the Fish Bonus crew, and all the community just felt like home. The minute I walked in, jet lagged, my bags with me, just had that feeling of everyone was just so happy and friendly and just saying, welcome back. And it was touching, man. I won't lie to you. I almost teared up a little bit. It was just one of those special moments.
Fantastic. And so, what's some of the successes that you've had other than obviously coming back home and reuniting the team? It's
been, as you say, like having everyone in one space has reignited the product magic. So we're actually evolving the product a little bit. So that's something to keep an eye out for. I'm not quite ready to announce it yet, but locally we've done some deals with some major corporations here. The story of Corilla is we're a spin out from Red Hat originally, and some other of corporations of that size, software companies of that scale, have come on board recently. And of course, the last year we've had some great support from Google. Both officially, they were an investor through Google for Entrepreneurs early on at Numa. And I laughed that Google as our number one investor, if only by quantity of protein bars that we've taken from the office. Because we're working quite a fair bit last year out of Google's offices in various cities. And every time we leave that space, I shouldn't admit it, but we've had pockets full of protein bars for years, man. So they've kept us alive. So shout out to Google. Please keep stocking your kitchens. Please keep letting startups visit.
You're feeding startups even though you don't know it. Maybe they do. There's probably cameras in there. Some assistant, some automated assistant is going, you need to order protein bars. David just took them all. And what about customers? Been new customers or strategic partners that you are able to talk about?
Yeah, it's actually been really interesting. What's great about going global, and we talked about, this was my talk at Myriad last year, is that gets you in a space where you're no longer looking at a brand and thinking, wouldn't it be great if you had them as a customer? So we got companies like, I can mention Degreed, who are this incredible employee learning company. They were one of our first customers on my first day in San Francisco, just going to meet them at South Park. Which is this area in the end of Soma in San Francisco where a lot of well-funded startups are. And they introduced us to so many companies around South Park. And this is an area that's very notable. It used to be full of it was a crack den in the old days, but then companies like Twitter was actually invented sitting on a park in South Park. So I had this really great feeling of wow, you're here, you're amongst all this history, and we just picked up customers geographically, just around this area, then we referred our way through, and being back here now, obviously having some big logos behind you, it was really great. One day, I had a really tough day, and I saw an email come in from NASA. And I remember that was one of those things I remember as a founder, you can have the worst day in the world, you look at your email, and when you see .nasa, whatever, it just made me so happy. So
you're absolutely right, and I've definitely had those challenges myself in marketing land, and you can have the crappiest day ever, and you get that one email from that lead that you might have been chasing for a year more.
I'm sorry I didn't reply to your email. It took me a year, so.
Yeah, no, I haven't been chasing you. Are you talking to me? No.
We should do a deal live on camera. Who's paying who though? Maybe
you're paying me. Isn't this? I'm doing
maybe
this for you, man.
Maybe it's share for Corilla, for Beach City. It's get the
Corilla
thing. Maybe you come on board, you subscribe to Corilla, and I will sponsor Beach City, right? Maybe that's what Myriad could be, like a Ponzi scheme for startups. Martin, I'm sorry, that's not actually that's a kind of good idea. Okay.
All right, gotta go. Thanks so much for your time, David.
Cheers,
Love your story, man. Cheers. Stay with us. We're here from Myriad 2018, facebook.com/Beach City Life. David just had to run off. With thanks to Everledger and Invest Sunshine Coast for bringing us here. Wow, we've had some amazing stories shared. And keep watching, there's will be plenty more tomorrow. And I'm sure you'll be watching through the weekend too. Cheers. Peace out, guys.